Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back once again to our channel. Today, we're going to show you a little bit. Listen to my voice, man. Listen to my voice. Listen to my voice from the assembly part of the Green F100. This car is almost finished now. You're going to see something kind of complex. We're also going to show you a bit today about the construction of the front suspension of Project 01. Here are the big carbon pieces. With the front suspension already underway, you'll get to understand a bit about how this initial part works. And we're saying goodbye to another car. Later, I'll show you which one it is. Here is the F100 then, in the assembly stage. So, what's going on with this car? It's a car that was painted outside the shop. The car was considered finished and came to us for us to do the final assembly, even though the car was already almost completely assembled. When it got here, we started to evaluate the car. It was pretty complicated. The bed area, the front part, and also the structural part here were also in pretty bad shape. So we talked to the owner and we decided to take the car apart and redo it. That's right. The V8 is already in, the transmission is already in, the rear and front suspension are already in. Thank you. So the car basically changed completely, the whole project changed, but it's a really cool car. The combination turned out really nice. As for the wheels, we helped design the project and so on. The project went from being just a simple final assembly to a full custom project, so we did everything just as the project guidelines require, okay? So here it is live, and here it is, the project. Look. So now we're going to show you what we're doing here, all right, guys? So we have the set of spacers, all brand new, straight out of the box, right? Now we're going to secure the cab in place. So we'll need to align it on both sides, secure it in place, and then try to align the front part afterwards. No exterior painting has been done on this car. Nothing was done. It's exactly as it came from the bodywork, but the interior was redone. Pretty much almost everything. It's a car that, as we explained to the client, might show some paint imperfections and such. But the idea is to drive the car without worrying too much about little details. So we're going to assemble it and align the car. It's not a simple car to align like the others. With the F100, you can see, look where the fender is and look where the inner fender is, right? Look at the distance we have here, right? So we're going to align it the best way possible without damaging anything on the car. So we start with the cab and then we move on to the front part. So let's go. Look here, guys. How does it work? I'm going to grab a little specialized tool. Then we'll come right here under the car. And we're going to carefully measure from the main chassis to the structure right here. So, looking from the chassis on both of the sides, it absolutely has to be the exact same measurement for everything to be correct. And here at the rear section of the vehicle as well, from there to here, we are taking exactly the same measurement. And then, from the front all the way to the back, it's the same process. This way, we can ensure we have the cab perfectly aligned and centered, both from front to back and from side to side. You can't trust the alignment of the chassis down there where the bushing is. You can't rely on that spot, okay? Because this cab might have shifted that distance here between these 2 points. It's harder for the rear, but it can happen at the front. So you can't just trust the pin lined up in the middle of the hole that's on the chassis there. So you have to set it on top and align it using measurements, both laterally and front to back here. Now we can tighten the cab and then, yes, start aligning the whole assembly of the car. Look how cool that is, guys. See how the metal shavings will fall all on the floor?
That one's easy.
That one is.
Just needs a little adjustment.
Big Brox. Big Brox.
Big Brox. This here is a big drill bit for English, right? For the folks who
Aren't from English, right?
No, but my God, I have to go to...
I'm at home. I will not be able to come this week. To be honest, this week I won't be able to make it back to the wind.
I won't be able to...
Damn, this really isn't the way we're used to dealing with this thing at all. Well, it looks like the screw just fell right down in there. Can you help me out for a second?
You are doing it alone, huh?
No, I'm going to put it there. We tighten it here, it's turned to the side, sideways. This
For those who say you do nothing.
is for behind the scenes, right, man? Nobody sees this stuff.
Every 15 days, he puts on the dust cover and something comes off.
Actually, here. No,
Can't you fit the thing in? No.
you can't. Because the key is going in like this, look. This here, guys, for those who like it at home, it would be nice to have too. For those who like to tinker with things at home, look. It comes up to here like this. And from here down, you choose whatever you want.
You make the modules, right?
And this particular one, it's even easy for me to reach out and grab here. Look how cool. There's more here. One more, look. Really complete. We chose it all black because pretty much everything is black in the workshop. We're just going to take this off here. And we're going to put ours on, which isn't ready yet. But everything's going to work out.
Perfect. Perfect ones.
So what happens here with the alignment part of the F100, specifically the F100, okay? It has 3 cabin mounts. What is that? One is at the front of the cabin, one is at the back, and the other, man, is right here. At the front of the front frame section, okay? How does that affect the car's alignment? Because it really takes time when we want to have a super precise level of alignment like we have on Vardomira over there on the green and white Godzilla. Any millimeter, any extra tightening, anything at all makes a total difference in the alignment. What is alignment on this car? It's these lines right here. So this line here, the door line goes up and curves around. So when we build a car from scratch, we can, not saying we make it perfect, but we can get the measurements much closer because we're building the car from the ground up here. So we go through the whole process, the entire assembly alignment, tightening everything, the adjustment, the tightening itself, the washer, how many go in. So we can get this pretty close. And before the car goes to paint, we make sure everything is well aligned. If we need to make a cut or sand something down, we do it right then. So with this specific car, it's clear that this wasn't done. This care, it wasn't taken. So we're going to try to align it as best as possible. So we started by tightening the front here. Man, the alignment already changed because it was really close. I'll even bring it closer here just so you can get an idea. Man, it's not bad yet, right? So we're going to adjust here, pull here. You can see it here. See how there's a measurement here? Then it goes up, and there's another one here. Here's another one, and up there it goes up again. Totally different. And look down there, it's separated, see? So let's go. This here, man, if you bring it closer at the bottom, you'll separate it at the top, right? You're going to do this with the fender. Look, if it touches at the bottom, that's how it is. So it's going to separate at the top. You're going to do this here. If you want it to touch at the top, you'll turn it like this. So it's going to separate at the bottom. So, man, we're going to do our best here, right? So we can get a nice, even alignment, but it won't be 100% because there wasn't the attention to detail from the beginning of the build to the assembly stage. All the cars that go through the process here at the shop that still need painting, we try to get this alignment as good as possible beforehand, so that when we do the assembly, we do it the right way. So let's align it here as best as we can, keep the alignment. After all that, we align or pre-align, right? We put the parts in place, tighten everything, make sure everything is kind of firm. You bring the hood and set it in place. So this line here also makes all the difference in how it fits together. And this side line here as well, look, we need to have the cab touching the fender here. Look, the fender has to go all the way inside, see? So aligning the F100 here, man, it's not easy, guys. It's not easy. And if you don't do some work before assembly, you won't be able to get this here. 100%. Let's see what we can do here. Let's adjust everything, tighten it up. Even so, something that changes a lot is original parts, right? So here, apparently, we don't have an original fender. We didn't have the original inner fenders. We ended up with some left over here, and we put them on this car to improve the finish a bit, right? And the front frame, in this case, is also not original. So we had to make some adjustments to it. But I think we'll be able to get a really nice alignment. Compared to what we expected, I think we'll get a nice alignment. That will make the whole set of the car come together in a completely different way. When we talk about this here, right? Completely different. So here we have a car that was planned, aligned, and built to have an above average alignment, let's put it that way, starting from the cabin mounts. Man, look here. I'm not going to touch it because black is really tricky, so we leave it like this. We don't touch it once a week. We just come by and give it a little air so it doesn't collect dust. But we don't touch the car. Look at the hole in there. So, man, the car is already practically aligned just by putting it on top. Of course, we did the basic alignment, right? But since we built this car, we aligned the parts as much as possible. That's why this process back there, back in the shop, takes a while because you have to put the piece on. Put it on, take it off, cut the part with the laser, put it on top, weld it. So we do everything we can to achieve this alignment and get this kind of finish on the car, just like we have here. Today, on the F100, the green and white Godzilla over there, Vardomir. The process isn't simple, man. It's a pretty tricky process from the rear section all the way to where we get here. At the end, and just a reminder, right, man, when we align the parts for the fender, hood, door, like over there on the green F100, the bodywork and paint part is also very important for us to achieve this finish. So, man, there's no point. We had a car that left the shop. Then we did a pre-alignment here. It went to this so-called shop. The car left. And unfortunately, we had to let go of both the client and the car because they simply wanted us to assemble it and just accept it the way it was. And that's not how it works, okay? That's not how it works. We care about quality and finish. It's our name on the project, but in my opinion, the car came back worse than it was. It came back with filler on the edge of the doors. I'm not going to go into details because that starts to get me upset. We're here to talk about good things. Let's go here on the F100 green zone. Let's see what we can do here in this alignment area. Get everything spot on. Let's go. Here, look, guys, the suspension bushing from the 01. See? So man, it's really hard to find someone who machines this, right? So here's the little bushing project, see? We're going to assemble it. So what happens? The red one is too hard and the yellow one is too soft. So we're going to use this green one, which is an intermediate, right? We could also make it out of mopu, but mopu is a mix with graphite. But we couldn't get mopu to machine like this. So we're going to do it this way. Later, if we manage to get mopu, we'll swap it out then.
I'll stay here. Dude, if you made 10 pairs, make 10 with this look, right? For every 2 of these, use 1 of these. Because the drawing...
It does not currently possess any...
Code. What code?
So enter the code. It would be somewhat interesting if you're going to standardize it more or less to add code. Here you go, kids. Long live your passion, my friend. Cadillacs. These here are the parts from the Escape IE, from the 01. Take care. So here comes the little bend. Take a look at this. We have exactly 3 inches for us to install right after the turbine, right? So here we go. We have 2 complete sets of these bends and the 2 little flexible ones as well. It looks like everything is ready for the next step of the assembly process. The lever is here, it brakes and all that, right? The exhaust can go anywhere or twist at some support, so we use a flexible one.
So then...
There you go. Now all that's left is for the guy to come and make the exhaust. But the guy hadn't come to make the exhaust because the part was missing. But up until now, 10 minutes ago, it was our fault because the parts hadn't arrived yet, right? But now, the one who's late is you, man, because the parts were already here. The parts were already here and you didn't come.
All right.
see? It's done in place. Now we finish up all the little details, fasten everything, make sure everything is nice and secure, right? Give it a couple of shakes, 2 or 3 times to see if nothing moves and the external assembly of the car is finished. This car is going to get an aluminum radiator, a new one, and a billet steering column. With the transmission on top, which we're still looking for, it's been pretty hard to find. And that's it, see? There it is. Man, let's go. It wasn't such an easy alignment, was it? Because of the parts and all, but it turned out really nice. This is FC Zona Verde for you firsthand, assembled for the first time. It's the first time we're seeing it put together like this. And here, gentlemen, the strut. We did a 3D print. Here it is, the front suspension from the 01. So we took these points here from the Crown Victoria suspension, right? Really, the Crown Victoria suspension has this big advantage, right? So we took the suspension points from the Crown Victoria. We did this 3D print to test it out to see if it really works. And here we have the first prototype already done with laser cutting. So here is our first test strut made with laser cutting, okay? Lower part there, upper part here. Here we already have the ball joints, look, that we're going to use. 14 guys here, it's really sturdy, it's very strong. I've never seen a double suspension until today. Assembled a ball joint this size. This ball joint here is the Frontier's ball joint. Up to 2009, the pair of upper and lower ball joints and the bolts aren't here. Here, for us to attach the hub. So what's the idea here? Man, we want to make a part that's customizable, so we can use it with both smaller calipers and even bigger ones than this. We can use a disc of whatever size we want. Man, here we have a 390 millimeter disc, look. We can use whatever disc we want, whatever caliper we want. And here we have a hub with rotation measurement, see? So if you want to add, I don't know, ABS, launch control, traction control, you can use all of that with this guy here, exactly the way it is. And man, look at how strong this hub is, okay? Look at the strength of this thing. The cool thing about it is that it's sealed, see? So it's sealed. If the bearing starts making noise, man, here's the bearing. For 700 reais, you can replace this whole assembly here and put in a brand new one, okay? So that's our idea. You don't need to take apart the whole car. You just go there, remove the 4 bolts in the back, and you take this guy out, okay? So this here can handle up to 1,500 kilograms. This part can handle it, okay? So, man, let's go. Our F100 over there will have, dividing between the 2 wheels, maybe, I don't know, around 800 kilograms or so, okay? So you're going to fit the part here, bolt it in, then comes the disc, and now we're working on developing the caliper bracket and the steering bar. What are we going to do here? Since we're using a ball joint, we're going to machine a part and fit it here. Look, so it will wrap around the ball joint exactly at this angle it has here with much stronger steel. So we're going to make this whole piece already with the lower and upper ball joints fitted in place, right? So this one goes here, look, and this one goes here, right? Already fitted in place. And now we already have the basic suspension assembly aligned. Next comes the caliper bracket and the steering bar. And then it turns out really cool, and it's very easy for us to assemble with whatever part we want. So here it is, the first assembly of the suspension for our FC, so that's number 01, okay? We've already fitted this here. On the carbon wheels, it looks really awesome, right? 3D. The first part, the hub, has been the same since the beginning, and so has this disc here. We used one that we had already machined for another car to make it easier to fit, because it doesn't fit perfectly here. So we're going to machine a disc specifically for it. Next, the pivot, the upright, and here the big pair of brakes. So here it is. This is our suspension assembly, okay? This one is from another car, okay, Grisanto? So here is the front suspension kit for the 01. We also tested this here in 3D, and it worked really well. And we're going to use gas double adjustable shock absorbers, those famous K1S that we use in all of them. So that's it, the 01 assembly. Without further ado, look who's here. Check it out. Big tire, see? So without further ado, man, I want to thank you all for watching this video until the end. Leave a comment below about what you thought was cool. If you have any questions, constructive criticism, anything that can help the channel and that interests you as well. If you have any knowledge to share, drop it in the comments. Leave a big like, subscribe to the channel, because this year things are going great. Exactly where it needs to go, on track, just like we've always wanted. So let's go. Thank you, and I'm out.